Welcome, welcome. It's Dawn with For Grace Creations. And are you ready to make a mess and have fun? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to do this. I've wanted to do it for a while and I've put it off, but I'm doing it today. So why the hammer? Yeah, well, because we're going to have some fun. We're going to make some grunginess here. And I've got some coffee. I have some Distress Oxide and some water in a spray bottle. And then I've got a couple of signatures put together with bulldog clips right at the edge. Now, if you don't have a hammer, try a ruler and start banging. Hard, not soft, hard. We are trying to, kind of ruin the paper a little bit. I mean, not ruin, but create some distress. You know what I'm saying? Use your hammer, use your scissor edges, your stapler, wrench, whatever you've got near you that is heavy duty and you can really go to town banging on these. So I'm making a journal, a fairy journal, and I am making some happy mail, a mini journal. And so that's kind of what we're working on today. The video idea came from Louisa Heinzel. I will link that video in the description box because you might find it's easier to follow her instructions than mine. Everybody learns differently, but she used frayed burlap first. And I happen to have it. I got it as a gift. And so I was shocked. I actually can do this exactly how she did it. But if you don't have it, use something else. Any Distress Oxide color will work. This just happens to be what she used first. So we're just going to take the lid off and start rubbing the actual ink pad all over the edges here in kind of a random order. You know, the sides, the fronts. See, we're going to get it in some spots and not in others. And that is exactly what we want. There's no perfection in this. This is grunge. This is messy fun. Wear gloves if you don't want this ink all over your hands. I do have a cereal box liner down kind of to protect my area and paper underneath that because I am hoping to catch some of this ink on that paper so I can use it down the road with collage fodder. But some of these pages I'm opening up the book or the signature to get down in there a little bit. Not all of them, just some. And I'm going to do this with all three signatures except the spine. I'm not working on the spine. And now water. This is where our spray bottle of water comes in. Go to town. Spray, spray, spray. Let me move my camera just a little. Maybe you can get a better angle here. We want it wet, like dripping wet. We want that water to kind of drip down inside those signatures to gather the ink and have it drain inside. Just think wet. We will go ahead and dry this. You can use a hairdryer or a heat gun when we're done. But we're going to do this to all three signatures. I'm only doing one on camera just for time's sake. So just keep on spraying and letting it run. Trust me. Trust the process. This is going to be so cool. I don't do a lot of grunge, but when I do, it is fun. Time for coffee. Just grab a paintbrush. My coffee got cold from this morning, so I'm just using my cold coffee. You do want enough that it's going to run down in the pages. Be sloppy with this. Just let her rip. I will be drinking more coffee later, but I will rinse out my cup and get fresh coffee. So go to town, let her just drip inside all over. All right, so the next thing, we want to dry it a little bit. So I'm using a heat gun. You could use your hairdryer. I'm not going to turn it on and do it because then you can't hear me talk. But we're just going to hold it here and dry the edges. And of course I am doing this little one as well. So we'll dry the edges. And after you do that a little bit, take off the bulldog clips, and then we're going to pull up, you know, and dry in between a little bit. So we want to get this thoroughly dry, and I'll do that off camera. As I'm drying it, I get to see what's happening. Look at this. The oxidation, oh, whatever that word is, has left multiple colors. Look at this side. Isn't that cool? Not quite dry. Gonna keep going. Okay, my pages are nearly dry, and I have the 3 signatures separated, and then this little guy. And if you can't already tell, they both are going to be fairy themed. So I'm going to get some brushed corduroy and vintage photo. Well, I got to see if I have those two. That's what Louisa used. I'm going to see if I have them. Do not. I have brushed corduroy and gathered twigs. So I'm going to use those. Use what you've got. So we're going to take brushed corduroy and just get some of the edges on there. And it doesn't have to be everywhere. You know, we want it kind of sporadic. There's not much here on this front one. Okay, and then we're gonna put the lid on. We're just doing one signature at a time. Gathered twigs now. And I'll try to go in different spots with this. Maybe places that didn't get that brushed corduroy. And a little on the back side too, because we don't want just the fronts done. All right, let's call it done with that. And then, then she's going to attempt to do some embossing powder. So I'm going to gather the things I need, and I'll be back. Okay, so you do not need embossing powder for the, the pad, you know, the embossing sticky stuff, because we're going to use water, and our embossing powders will actually stick to this water. I didn't know that until Louisa explained it. So I've got, this is the only actual embossing powder I have, but I do have these mica powders. I thought, well, maybe I'll try it. Who knows? You use what you got, right? And I think what I'll do is I'll start with this brown. And here's what she did. She first sprayed water on edges. I know we're getting it wet again. Oof. And then she let it sit. And basically, you're letting that water soak into the paper some, and you're letting some of this stuff run. I did clean my cup and got fresh coffee. This page is wet. I am gonna move it. I just had it there to catch any water and ink. I'm gonna move that out of the way because you do want a dry surface here when we do this, and something to catch the powder that is extra, that, you know, the powder that falls off. Then what we do is we take this, take the lid off and just kind of randomly sprinkle and then shake it off. Sprinkle and shake it off. Okay, and then I'm going to pour this back into the container. So now I'm going to come in with some of this, even though it's just plain white and shiny. I want to see what that's going to do. I'm going to sprinkle some on the edges. And then add, you know what? I'm going to add a tad bit of this black. Wait. Shake it off. Oh, there's not that much there. But, oh well, I shook it off. We're going to add a little bit of this black. Oof. Shake it off. Okay, so now we are actually going to need to dry this with our heat gun. And it's going to take a little longer than you normally would have because our pages are damp. So that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dry it and then I'll be back. All right. So the other signature that we just had some fun with our embossing powder, I'm not going to do that to my other two signatures, but I am going to go ahead and use the two different distress inks on them just to get some more grunge and color, and then I'll dry them. Everything is now dry, and if you just release yourself to make a mess, allow yourself to have some fun, oh my gosh, this is therapeutic. You guys, this is that piece of white paper I started with. It's what it looks like now. Once I started really getting into this and things got dry and I was able to see, I thought, oh, I had all kinds of ideas. I grabbed my gold paint and did some splatters, my black paint and did some splatters, a little bit of blue, and it is just this amazing feeling. I have flicked paint and gold gilding wax everywhere. My walnut stained hands. Oh, it is just beautiful. So I do have to give a shout out for Louisa for giving this tutorial to us. How amazing. What a huge blessing. So I'm going to show you one of, well, I'll show you the little guy and then a signature of the big one. So this was my Happy Mail. I did go ahead and bind it. And look at this grungy mess. I did add a little bit of black embroidery thread to it. It's a small one, so a little flippy through won't take long. It has amazing texture. And it's just so fun how the colors are so different, you know? I did add a little bit of stamping just to give this a little more grunge because I am going to mail it out tomorrow. Yeah, I'm pleased. What a disastrous mess that was. So fun. I'm over here giddy. So this is one of my signatures. The very first signature in the fairy journal that I'm going to do in a grunge effect. But it has so many different, like, okay. Look at this up close. Do you see all the different colors? Isn't that just fabulous? That's what that oxide ink does. Or distress oxide. I mean, I didn't add any green, guys. How did that do that? You know, look at these amazing prints. And the yellows. And over here, the way this just happens is fabulous. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun binding these together and creating and absolute grungy journal. And eventually, it will be up for sale. Unless I adore it too much. And then I may have to keep it. I will let you know. And you know, maybe in a few weeks or so, I'll come back and do some decorating in this, some grunge decorating, and I'll show you. For now, go do this. Have some fun. Release your inner child. Protect your surface. I mean, my hands, I've washed them 3 times, and this is what's stained. And I'm just so pleased. So thanks for being here, you guys. And, oh, yeah, I'm going to link Louisa's video so you can see what she does. All right, until next time, God bless.